Every mineral has an orderly arrangement of atoms and a definite chemical composition which gives it a unique set of physical properties. The crystal form is the external expression of a mineral's orderly internal arrangement of atoms. Luster is the appearance or quality of light reflected from the surface of a mineral. Click on the best term to describe the luster shown. Color is undoubtedly the most obvious characteristic of a mineral. Color is not always a useful diagnostic property. For example, slight impurities in the mineral quartz give it a variety of colors. Streak is the color of a mineral in its powdered form and is obtained by rubbing a mineral across a piece of unglazed porcelain called a streak plate. Although the color of a mineral may vary from sample to sample, the streak usually does not, as shown above. Hardness is a measure of the resistance of a mineral to abrasion or scratching. Any mineral of unknown hardness can be compared to other minerals or objects of known hardness. This mineral is unable to be scratched by a fingernail. The same mineral is unable to scratch glass. Which of the above best describes the hardness of this sample? Cleavage is the tendency of a mineral to break along planes of weak bonding. The simplest type of cleavage is exhibited by the micas. Because micas have weak chemical bonds in one direction, they cleave to form thin, flat sheets. This sample of biotite mica illustrates minerals that exhibit one plane of cleavage. The mineral feldspar has two cleavage directions. When minerals break evenly in more than one direction, cleavage is described by the number of planes exhibited and the angles at which they meet. Use the contact goniometer to measure the angle between the adjacent planes of cleavage. Calcite is a mineral whose cleavage angle is 75 degrees. Use the contact goniometer to measure the angle between the adjacent planes of cleavage. Hornblende has two cleavage angles, one at 60 degrees and one at 120 degrees. Some common mineral cleavages. Adjust the slider bar to see more of the table. Click and drag each diagram to rotate it. How many planes of cleavage does this sample exhibit? Do these planes meet at right angles, 90 degrees? How many planes of cleavage does this sample exhibit? Do these planes meet at right angles, 90 degrees? How many planes of cleavage does this sample exhibit? How many planes of cleavage does this sample exhibit? How many planes of cleavage does this sample exhibit? How many planes of cleavage does this sample exhibit? How many planes of cleavage does this sample exhibit? It is important not to confuse cleavage with crystal form. Remember, crystal form is the external expression of a mineral's orderly arrangement of atoms, whereas cleavage is the tendency of minerals to break along planes of weakness. All minerals have crystal form, but some minerals lack cleavage. Minerals that do not exhibit cleavage when broken are said to fracture. What is the fracture style of this sample? What is the fracture style of this sample? What is the fracture style of this sample? Specific gravity is a number representing the ratio of the weight of a mineral to the weight of an equal volume of water. Most common minerals have a specific gravity of between 2.5 and 3. Other properties can be used to identify some minerals. For example, halite is ordinary table salt, so it can be identified with your tongue. Graphite feels greasy. Some varieties of magnetite are natural magnets. And certain minerals will effervesce, fizz, when hydrochloric acid is applied.